Hello everyone. My name is Steve Pederson, and I would like to welcome you to this journey through the Proverbs. This is day one of a 31-day series, and I'm going to give you a tiny little bit of an overview, but if you haven't watched the introduction video yet, I just want to invite you to do that. I'll put the link to it down below this video. It'll give you a little bit more kind of a bird's eye view of what's going on with this whole 31-day journey through the Proverbs. But basically what I'm going to do is we're just going to read through a chapter together each day. I'm going to share with you my takeaway as the Spirit has moved on my heart. I'm going to share with you an affirmation that I made from it. And then I just want to invite you to leave a comment and share your takeaway in the comments below. So today we are going to be talking about, of course, Proverbs chapter 1. So let's go ahead and get right on into the text. Proverbs chapter 1, and by the way, I'm going to be reading from the World English Bible, or the web version, and there's some very, very slight edits that I've also made to take out some of the kind of archaic language and make it a little bit more relatable to today's English speaker. So let's go ahead and dive into Proverbs chapter 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to discern the words of understanding, to receive instruction in wise dealing, in righteousness, justice, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young man and women, that the wise man may hear and increase in learning, that the man of understanding may attain to sound counsel, to understand a proverb and parables, the words and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but the foolish despise wisdom and instruction. My son, listen to your father's instruction, and don't forsake your mother's teaching, for they will be a garland to grace your head and chains around your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, don't consent. If they say, "Come with us, let's lie in wait for blood. Let's lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let's swallow them up alive like the grave and whole like those who go down into the pit. We'll find all valuable wealth. We'll fill our houses with plunder. Cast your lot among us. We'll all have one purse." My son, don't walk on the path with them. Keep your foot from their path. For their feet run to evil. They hurry to shed blood. For the net is spread in vain in the sight of any bird, but these lie in wait for their own blood. They lurk secretly for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. Wisdom calls aloud in the street. She utters her voice in the public squares. She calls out at the head of noisy places. At the entrance of the city gates, she utters her words. How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? How long will mockers delight themselves in mockery, and fools hate knowledge? Turn at my rebuke. Behold, I will pour out my spirit on you. I will make known my words to you. Because I have called and you have refused, I have stretched out my hand and no one has paid attention. But you have ignored all my counsel and wanted none of my rebuke. Therefore, I will also laugh at your disaster. I will mock when calamity overtakes you, when calamity overtakes you like a storm, when your disaster comes on like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come on you. Then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but they will not find me, because They hated knowledge and didn't choose the fear of the Lord. They wanted none of my counsel. They despised all my rebuke. Therefore, they will eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own schemes. For the backsliding of the simple will kill them. The careless ease of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will dwell securely and be at ease without fear of harm. Well, that's pretty powerful stuff, if you ask me. Man, I absolutely love Proverbs, the whole book of Proverbs. I've been reading it ever since I was a little kid, and oh man, I just absolutely love it. There's so much in here that I could comment on. It's really, really powerful stuff. I mean, it's almost like, as I was reading it right there, I already have some thoughts together, but as I was reading it right there, I was just thinking about the storm coming on you. And I just feel like this past year, we have been a part of a storm. Now, obviously, that storm was not of our making, but sometimes storms can be of our making. And as a matter of fact, that was one of the main takeaways that I got out of this, and that is that you reap what you sow. This proverb really talks about how you manifest what you plant. Your actions have consequences. Now, I don't think the Proverbs should ever leave you feeling like a bad person. They should never belittle you. You should never go away from the Proverbs feeling like, oh, I'm such a schmuck, or you should never go away from them terrified. This is one of those Proverbs where you could kind of come away from it and say, wow, this is terrifying. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is to empower you. The Proverbs should empower you and help you come away with something that you can really take and feel great about. So the affirmation, one of the affirmations actually that I'm going to share today that I came away from this with is, I am the creator of my own destiny. Now, obviously there's certain things in our lives that we don't have control over, but for the most part, the things that show up in our lives, the things that we reap in our lives, they are because of the decisions that we have made. I think that's a huge point about this whole thing, is that you have a choice. I have a choice. And so my affirmation is, I am the creator of my own destiny. Another verse in here that really stood out to me was this one where he talks about being greedy for gain, that it takes away the life of its owners. And when I read that, I thought about the movie that I saw recently, the Wonder Woman movie, WW84. And in that movie, it's like everybody has a choice. What do you want? What do you wish for? Is the line that keeps coming up. What do you wish for? And the point of the movie is you got to be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. And it seemed like a lot of the people in the movie were really greedy for gain at first, but the result was it took away the life of the person that was making the wish. So that was an interesting application. One last thing I want to just mention is that I'm not going to be the only one sharing takeaways in these videos. I'm putting the word out there, and some friends are going to be sharing their takeaways as well. So I'm going to use this time, because I don't have another friend's takeaway just yet, I want to use this time to share one more affirmation and takeaway that I got from Proverbs chapter 1 today. And that is that this chapter is all about beginnings. And I think it's such a perfect time when I'm doing this, releasing it on January 1st. Of course, you can watch it any day of the year, but and the point being that any time is a great time for a new beginning. I can always learn something new, even though these proverbs are addressed to a young man, so to speak. I think what it means is just being young at heart, young in our minds, always having that learner's attitude, approaching everything with humility, having that attitude of, I've never been in this situation before, so I'm going to go into it with a learner's or a beginner's mindset. I know for me, when I first started going to Toastmasters, I went because, in case you're not aware of Toastmasters is just a place for people to get comfortable with public speaking. And when I went, I felt like I was already comfortable with public speaking, but I went on the recommendation of somebody else. And because of that, I went in with kind of a very arrogant attitude, like, what, do these people have to teach me? Especially because their approach was so different than mine. I just thought I was so far above them. And one of the very experienced teachers, the first time I went, he said, hey, you're never too, old or whatever. The point was, you can always learn something. And that really hit me and made me realize, okay, I'm here for a reason. Let me just humble out and learn. So my affirmation from this, my second affirmation is, I have a beginner's mind. I have a beginner's mind. Well, those are my takeaways from Proverbs chapter 1. Now, what I would love to hear from you is, what are your takeaways? Please leave your takeaway in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can, make sure that you stay on top of each of these videos as they come out, and join us for the journey. It's okay if you miss a day, but would love to hear your takeaways from Proverbs chapter 1. Well, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you back again here tomorrow.